Higuanza, or the Pheasant Cap Master in English, was a philosopher and statesman who served as the chancellor of the state of Zhao in the 3rd century BCE. He is so named due to the supposedly unique nature of his hat, which was bedecked in pheasant plumage. Little is known of him, not even his name, but he did have the misfortune of backing the wrong horse, with the state of Zhao succumbing to the military might of the ascended kingdom of the Qin. It is plausible that the text was written following the fall of the Zhao, when the Pheasant Master retreated to become a mountain hermit, although the text probably incorporates large portions of other material that were likely later ascribed to this mysterious figure. The text highlights the importance of the ruler to the state. To quote, "The root issues from the one man, hence we call him heaven. Nothing but receives his decree, the shaping of the whole state completely resides within his person." To the Pheasant Cap Master, the ruler is so important that they must aspire to sagehood, as their personal morality can have bountiful or disastrous results for the weather, seasons, and other physical phenomena. Here we see once again the Chinese linking of public morality and the cosmological order. However, the text also recognizes the importance of the advisor, highlighting the importance of selecting those who are worthy as the close advisors of the ruler, as they will be willing to tell the truth and remonstrate with the monarch, as opposed to lesser attendants who would conceal bad news from their lord. Continuing with the theme of politics, the text appears to draw on the broader Confucian tradition, which privileges the superiority of winning over the masses through virtue rather than bending them to one's will through brute force. By affection, the ruler is able to attract the most capable to their table. Besides ethics and politics, the text is particularly focused on the specific definitions of the words that it uses. The author recognizes the power of words, and particularly how a sloppily formed argument can form an unintended idea in the mind of the recipient. As such, the text redefines several terms within specific linguistic limits in an attempt to create a neutral linguistic terrain for the discussion of political concepts, while acknowledging that the rhetorical weight of the terms it uses are derived from their broader social context. In the focus on the correct and specific use of words, the text shares the concerns of the earlier logicians, syncretists, and the late Moists, who saw the rectification of names as key to the re-establishment of order in society. In this sense, the sage ruler should be the ultimate source of names in society, and by correctly naming objects, they are able to control the social order. However, the text also appears to draw upon Taoist influences, and refers to the One, possibly the Tao or the ruler in association with the Tao, as the source of natural law, and as such, a realist rather than a nominative view of names. To quote, "The One acts as their rule. Once the rule of the One is set up, the myriad things of all come as dependents. That the rule reveals others, but is not self-permissive, is the way of heaven." Here we possibly see the nameless One as the source of all names. Much as in earlier Taoist texts, the Tao is the source of the myriad things. This lends itself to a realist interpretation of the world, rather than the nominative arguments which had previously been advanced by the logicians. Besides the ethical and ontological discussions within the book, it also represents an implied criticism of the Qin. Although dating the text is difficult, it appears that the Pheasant Master foresaw the oppressive nature of the future Qin dynasty, or had the misfortune of living through the period of intellectual repression which they oversaw. To quote, "If one, using metal alone, doesn't connect with the other phases, one cuts off the main thread of the way, disturbs the figures of heaven, disrupts the attunement of the tones, and goes against the character of things. If heaven does not act as guideline, the results are disasters, such as drought and famine." The Qin, who came from the west, were associated with the element of metal, appropriate for the force they used to unify China under their rule. In conclusion, although the Pheasant Cap Master was not particularly important in later Chinese thought, his discussions of ethics and ontology, drawing from disparate sources, can be seen as a vital last gasp before the intellectual repression of the Qin. A flourish that acts as an endnote to the vibrancy of the Warring States period and the 100 schools of thought.